Good afternoon and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment hearings for Suburban Panel 2. We are a City of Ottawa quasi-judicial tribunal that holds public hearings to consider Planning Act applications, including minor variances to the zoning requirements and consents to sever land. Our hearings are now in person at Ben Franklin Place, 101 Centrepoint Drive. We also enable remote participation by video conferencing for our registered speakers. We are live streaming on YouTube, and the video will be archived and available for future viewing by the public. My name is Fabien Poulin. I'll be chairing today's hearings, and you can address me by my name or as chair. And with me are my fellow panel members, Jay Baltz, George Barrett, Heather McLean, and Julianne Wright. The procedure we'll be following for today's hearings will be as follows. Listed and on the agenda appearing on the screen from time to time are the applications we'll hear today. For the sake of efficiency, I may deal with agenda items in a different order. Panel members have reviewed the planning reports and any written submissions in support or in opposition to each of the applications. Today, we'll hear any oral submissions relating to the applications. As part of the statutory public notification requirements, each applicant was required to post a sign on the property in question before the hearing. They also had to confirm in writing that they did so, or they'll need to swear or affirm an oath today that they fulfilled the sign posting requirements. Otherwise, we may have to adjourn or postpone the hearing. The panel may ask for a brief presentation of an application, followed by questions for the applicant and city planning staff. We will then hear from members of the public who have registered to speak, and we may also have questions for them. Finally, the applicant, who has the burden of proof, will have an opportunity to make final comments and reply. Please address your comments to me as the chair, starting with your name and spelling it if necessary, and your address for the record. All presentations are limited to 5 minutes. Any exceptions will be at my discretion. At the end of the hearing, the panel may either make an oral decision or we may reserve our decision, which means we won't be delivering it today. In either case, and within 10 days, the Committee of Adjustment will send the official written decision and reasons for it to all the parties, participants, and anyone else who has requested a copy. Does anyone have any questions about the procedure we'll be following today? There are no questions. We have several applications to hear today, but first we need to deal with some of the preliminary and procedural matters. Are there any declarations of interest from any panel members? No declarations of interest. Confirmation of minutes of previous hearings. I believe we have a few. Oops, no, we don't have any. And we want to then discuss any withdrawal or adjournment requests. We have one withdrawal request that has to do with item number 2, 851 Richmond Road, as the variance is no longer required. All those in favor of allowing this withdrawal, please raise your hands. The withdrawal is approved. Next item is up for adjournment. We have potentially two. The first is item number 6, having to do with 2911 Ahearn Avenue. I'm looking for an E. Tierney. Hello. Are you requesting the, no?
Yeah.
Yes, you're good? Okay.
Yeah, it's the planner, that's a minor variance. Oh, a minor variance application has to be submitted to go along with the one that was already submitted.
Okay. And does planning department have any comments to make on this? Online?
Yes, Mr. Chair. There's no additional comments, so we're requesting adjournment to address the additional variance that was identified through the review process.
Perfect. Okay, so I'd like to, we're going to ask the panel to adjourn this application sine die. You good with that? Okay. All those in favor?
Mr. Chair, sorry, we do have the neighbor online who wishes to speak.
Okay. And who's the neighbor? Okay. Just waiting for his. There he is, Mr. Finney.
Hello.
Hello, we're looking to adjourn this application. Do you have any comments with respect to that?
I have no objections to the adjournment. I would like to say that I hope this process moves forward in a amicable way. I've been accused of trespassing on the property, and yeah, I hope this application moves forward nicely.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to ask the panel if they'd like to adjourn this application. Sine die. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application has been adjourned, sine die. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Tierney. Okay. Our next application that may be up for adjournment has to do with item number 7, and that's 1469 Youville Drive. And I'm looking for a K. Blouin. Hi,
Good afternoon, Chair.
could you please state your name and your address, sir?
Kenneth Blouin. I'm a consultant for the applicant. I work with FO10 at 420 O'Connor Street.
Okay. The reason why we've asked you to come up today and discuss a potential adjournment is you've requested that a condition be modified. We can't modify that condition on the floor. It has to be reviewed by planning staff and so on down the line before we can address it. So to that end, we can either proceed without that condition that you've requested, when we'll continue on with the application using the condition that the planning staff has put together. How would you like to proceed?
We discussed with staff this morning. It's all been fairly short notice because Monday being a holiday and everything. I believe we came to an agreement regarding updated wording. I don't know if staff would like to speak to it.
We haven't had the chance to review it either.
Okay.
Okay, or the comments by staff. That's our suggestion. That's why we're suggesting that it be adjourned today and move to the next meeting, if you want to consider that the revised wording on that condition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Tim Mead. I'm also with FO10 at 420 O'Connor. Yes, I guess if that is the only course of action available to us, other than continuing with the original wording, which isn't feasible or workable in this scenario for our client, we will concur with your adjournment request. We were under the understanding that staff were reviewing and providing comment on this condition and that we were clear to move forward. But if you haven't had the opportunity to review, which
That's right.
you're letting us know you need, then understanding that an adjournment is our best option here.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from planning?
I think that in today's meeting, we discussed that we're okay with the wording, but I just didn't really have time to send in amendment reports for this condition.
So that's the purpose of why we'd like to have the adjournment, so we can properly review it ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask,
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Can I comment? So I know we're not considering this today, but we have in front of us the proposed amendment to the condition, and I don't think, to me, it doesn't make any sense. So I think this needs a little look again. It's not grammatically correct. It's a clause stuck in the middle of a sentence that doesn't relate to the rest of the sentence. So I think before you bring it back to us, you should get this into a form that actually says what it means.
Thank you, Mr. Baltz, and through you, Mr. Chair. Is there any way that you can provide more commentary on that for our guidance moving forward? We don't want to come back to you.
So I
in the
can't
same-
suggest wording, but I can tell you what is giving me pause. It says wording, connected to the city infrastructure, and that these services do not cross the proposed severance line, that the conveyance of the parcel in question does not cause storm sanitary and or water services to cross the proposed property lines. To me, that doesn't actually mean anything. Is there a missing and or an or a such that in between those? Is one
if I
subordinate
can
to the other?
interject, if I can interject, this is the purpose of having it adjourned for a few weeks.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
would like you, I don't want to wordsmith it, but
Yeah.
before it comes before us again, it should make sense.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Chair. And I understand that that's the importance of having a review period. I just wanted to make sure if there was something that was particularly concerning that we understood what that was so that we wouldn't bring forward the condition moving forward that had the same concern.
I think once you work it out with planning staff, hopefully you've resolved your issues between them, and then you bring it back to us and we can review it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, I'd like to ask the panel if they'd like to review this application. When do you think we could hear it, Madam Secretary?
Mr. Chair, it could be put on the August 19th hearing agenda.
Okay. So we can adjourn this application to August the 19th. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Application is adjourned till August the 19th. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have to review, we've got 3 applications that are on the unopposed list. And those applications are application number 3, number 4, and number 5. I'm going to deal with items 3 and 4 together. They're having to do with 37 St. Clair Avenue and 35 St. Clair Avenue. All those in favor on panel to approve these applications, please raise your hands.
Mr. Chair, did you just want to do a call out to make sure there's no one that wants to hold any of these items?
Sure. Is there anybody from the public that would like to discuss these applications? We're planning to have them unopposed and approve them at this point. Anybody in chambers? Anybody online? There's no one online. Panel, would you like to approve 37 St. Clair and 35 St. Clair Avenue? All those in favor, raise your hands. Those applications have been approved. Last application on the unopposed list has to do with 145 Tad Johnson Private. All those in favor? I'm sorry, I'll ask the public again. Is there anybody in chambers or anyone online that would like to ask any questions or oppose this application? Anyone online? No? Panel, I'd like to ask you if you would approve this application. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application has been approved. Thank you very much. So on now to the applications we'll hear today. Application number 1 has to do with 2176 Boyer Road. And I'm looking for Mr. Jalkotsi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Would you like to give us a brief explanation of your application today, sir?
Yes, please put up the presentation. The next slide, please. So I'd like to just remind the committee that you're here to see a severance application with consent for easements only. There are no minor variances requested. The only reason why we wanted to present the concept that's being proposed for the site is because we're requesting the easements, so we need to give you justification to provide us with the easements. This slide shows you the broad area where the site is located. Boyer Avenue is an old street. It was developed very early in Blackburn Hamlet's period, and it has a very high mix of mostly single-family bungalows and 2-story homes on very large lots. It is a neighborhood that's in transition for sure. It's a block and a half, less than a block, excuse me, from Innes Road, which is a busy arterial. And it is got the very large lots, and it's got a zoning that permits long semis. Next slide, please. You can see here from a transportation perspective, there's a number of bus routes, and also the character of the streetscape is a combination of existing arterials and collectors. Next slide, please. Here is the zoning or the official plan characters for it. It's a suburban east transact. It's on it's on the edge, I would say, of the evolving neighborhood. Funnily, it sort of stops at that location roughly. Next slide, please. The proposed development that necessitates the easements is 2 long semis. They're fully compliant with the zoning bylaw. There are a total of 8 parking spaces to the rear. And as I indicated earlier, there are a number of transit accessible locations in this area, which is quite handy. And each of the semi-detached will have 3 units, meaning that on total on site, you will have a total of 12 units on the full site, or 6 units in each long semi. Next slide, please. This is the easements that are being created for the purposes of accessing the parking at the rear of the property. You'll note that there's a turning radius placed into it, and there's full accessibility back and forth for the for vehicles in this area. Next slide, please. We did very recently receive a number of concerns from the neighbors. And so what I wanted to do was simply highlight the fact that we are only doing a severance. There are no minor variances involved. The proposal does meet with both the City of Ottawa official plan and provincial goals. The proposal meets both with the city official plan and complies with the zoning bylaw as the city has envisaged for this location. They are going to be managed by a landlord, so they are a rental property in all senses. There's going to be a joint use and maintenance agreement to support the properties. There are bus routes close by. They were asking about overflow traffic, that sort of thing. The parking bylaws will have to respond in winter and summer as normal to any parking issues. The landscape, the front of the property is fully landscaped and will comply with the zoning bylaw. There's a tree information report indicating preservation of all of the trees. The client has already moved ahead with things like servicing and other aspects like that. So next slide, please. The height of the buildings complies with the zoning bylaw, and no variances again are being proposed. In final sort of the development, next slide, please, complies with not requiring a plan of subdivision. As it conforms with the official plan and is compatible with adjacent uses of land, they are all residential. The proposed conforms with the zoning bylaws. The land is suitable for the proposed use, including the site and its location. And there's adequate water and sewage supply as reviewed by the city in terms of when they reviewed the plans for this. And I should note that the City of Ottawa planners do not have any objections to the proposed project. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, there are a number of conditions, 8 conditions that the city is requesting. Are you in agreement with those conditions, sir?
I did mention that I see condition number 1 as being superfluous in the sense that this is not an existing building. So we're required as another condition to provide a servicing plan. And so therefore, it seems that that condition is redundant. That's the only thing we would suggest to the committee.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask the panel if they have any questions for the applicant. Ms. McLean, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No.
Mr. Barrett, do you have any questions for Ms. Wright? No? Mr. Baltz?
One question. So you talked about the accessibility to transit. Boyard it's a block or so from Innis, but it doesn't have access to Innis, correct? So how far away is the nearest transit stop or station?
It actually has like the right of way runs up to Innis Road.
Okay.
And
So through that commercial area, there's a walkway?
yeah, they can walk right through it.
Okay.
And in addition, though, there are in two other routes. So there's a route if you go north, and another one there. So the one on Innis Road is every 15 minutes. The other two are every 30 minutes.
And the stop is right there near Boyer.
Excuse me?
There's a stop on Innis near Boyer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask the planning services if they've got some comments to make with respect to this application. Ms. Yang?
I have no comments respecting this application.
Thank you. Ms. McLean, do you have any questions for planning?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wondered why there was no cash in lieu of parkland condition on this one.
There's supposed to be a cash in lieu parkland condition for this application. I haven't catch it in my review, but I will request it to put as an extra condition to this application.
So you're asking us to add that on as a, okay.
Yes.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Delcatsi?
Yes, we don't have a problem with that.
Okay, so we'll add that condition in there too. Mr. Barrett, do you have any questions for planning?
No, I don't.
Ms. Wright? No. No. Mr. Bolts?
Yeah, for condition one, can you address whether you support dropping condition one?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. They can still use the new servicing plan to clear condition one, but we would like to keep condition one as separate service is important to the city.
Thank you.
You okay with that explanation, Mr. Delcatsi?
As I say, I mean, as a condition, we're required to provide lot grading and servicing plans. I guess those two conditions would be lifted at the same time, and that's why my client didn't necessarily object to them. I'm just saying we tend to write clauses in even when we duplicate other clauses. And it's a lawyer gets an extra dime, I guess, for dealing with that section.
Okay. Okay, so we have a member
Chair,
of
Mr.
public.
Ireland is online.
I think there's a member of the public that would like to speak.
No,
Or
Mr. Ireland's
Mr.
online.
Ireland? Oh, okay.
Speak to the condition.
Mr. Ireland? You're muted, sir.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I'm here for Ahearn O'Connell. The condition that we're talking about, there's a grading and drainage plan, but not a servicing plan. So as Ms. Yang explained, condition one should stay, that there's only one opportunity to make sure the services are separate.
I guess we misunderstood what you said at the front end, but we've got condition number one is independent services and number three is a grading and services plan.
It's not a grading and servicing plan, it's grading and drainage plan.
Right. So are they both the same? Do we keep them all? Is that your recommendation?
Yes, that's mine.
Keep it all? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ireland. Okay, I believe we have someone from the public that would like to make a presentation or add some comments. Mr. Eric Sear, are you available? Come on down.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Sear. I'm a resident at 2168 Boyer Road. I just wanted to quickly discuss a few of the community concerns and speaking with a few of the neighbors about the proposal, which have also been submitted in writing to the committee. I just want to preface this discussion by first stating that the residents of the neighborhood are not against development or redevelopment of land for the purpose of strategic growth or quality of life improvements. We just want to ensure it's done in a manner that safeguards the long-term health and sustainability of the community. Concern number one is about the densification well in excess of development legislation. So it appears this proposal, similar to other recently approved proposals on this road at 2094 Boyer and 1960 Boyer, are stretching the intents of legislation such as Provincial Bill 23, the More Homes Built Faster Act, to maximize the density being proposed for the land while remaining relatively shielded from municipal interference per the changes under that legislation. The intent of this bill is, and I quote, to allow up to 3 gentle intensification principal units on any urban service residential parcel, including in a detached, semi-detached, or townhouse, and prohibiting a zoning bylaw from restricting such from occurring. This proposal for a 12-unit development in place of a single-family home cannot reasonably be justified as gentle intensification, and the factor of intensification far exceeds the province's intent under this legislation. The request from the community members is that the proposal be modified to more closely align with gentle intensification intended to prevent drastic, uncontrolled growth and transformation of the established community. Concern number 2 is regarding the misalignment of property zoning. The proposal documents claim to conform with R2N zoning requirements, although this may be true for explicit measures such as size and width. Point number 4 in the city's zoning description for R2N states that the purpose of R2 residential second density zone is to regulate development in a manner that is compatible with existing land use patterns so that the detached and 2 principal dwelling residential character of the neighborhood is maintained or enhanced. The current proposal at 2176 Boyer does not align with existing character of the neighborhood in any way. The neighborhood is comprised of primarily single-story dwellings with mature trees and private lots. If executed as currently proposed, this project would create an unmistakable departure from the current neighborhood character, leading to reduced privacy, increased shadowing on neighboring properties, and reduction in green space. Again, keeping in mind that the community does support strategic growth and development projects, the residents would ask that the committee and/or applicant make changes to the proposal to better align the project with the current character of the neighborhood. There are a number of ways to achieve this, including changes to building height, adjustment to building orientation, changes to the provision for a driveway, changes to the access to the dwellings, etc. Concern number 3 is regarding parking. I know there was some discussions earlier in the hearing about the parking, but just to reiterate, there are only 8 spaces being provided for 12 units. While there may or may not be provisions in the proposal for cash in lieu of parkland, this does not resolve the parking issues that neighboring residents, city bylaw, and snow removal services would be stuck dealing with. This stretch of way also does not have a sidewalk for pedestrians to safely walk along the road. Therefore, it becomes even more dangerous to have pedestrians walking around a long row of parked cars that are bound to be permanently staged near the property. The request from the residents is for the committee and/or applicant to make changes to the proposal to provide adequate parking for intended occupant load, either by reducing the designed occupant load and/or modifying development of the lot to include for proper amount of parking spaces on the property, similar to every other residence on the street. Concern number 4 is regarding noise. Although the current proposal states that building will not generate additional noise, it would be very difficult to understand how that statement can be true. Firstly, with such extreme intensification of the land, there will be upwards of 12 families in the same space that otherwise would have been occupied by 1 or 2 families at most. Also, by creating a parking lot at the rear of the building, the current proposal is effectively introducing street noise to the back of the property, directly adjacent to the backyards of a number of residents. The members of the community ask that revisions be made to address the additional noise of this proposal. This can be achieved in a number of ways, including revision to the site plan, revision to the scale of the proposal, or potential requirements for sound reducing perimeter fencing. And the final concern of residents that I wanted to highlight would be the precedence that such a proposal is setting in the community for future developers. If the municipality continues to allow such drastic intensification projects that well exceed the government's densification goals, there is great concern that the housing market in this community and many others like it will fall to the hands of developers who hold no accountability for the sustainability and long-term well-being of the neighborhood. The residents ask that the committee and/or applicant closely reconsider all aspects of this proposal to make the required changes to better align it with development goals of our government while respecting the character of the community. And that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think the panel may have some questions for you, sir. Ms. Wright, do you have any questions? Mr. Baltz?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll say first off, I mean, I understand your concerns with the changes to the character of the neighborhood, but I want to focus on your statements about Bill 23. So
Mhm.
Bill 23 is what requires us to allow 3 units in what used to be 1 unit in the zoning. But your contention is that Bill 23 is being exceeded somehow here. So I'm wondering if you could clarify that. Because I'm sorry, only the person at the front here may speak, please.
Yeah, so my note on this, and this is after having several discussions with the councillor of this ward as well. It's more so around stretching the intent of the legislation. I understand that the wording of it is allowing up to 3 units in what was a semi-detached, detached, or townhouse. I guess our perspective from the community is that it seems that the government was intending to allow an intensification factor of 3, when in reality, what's being proposed on this property is an intensification factor of 12.
I think probably you need to speak to your provincial representative because I think that may not be correct understanding
Okay.
of the intent of Bill 23, and it ties our hands in what we can do here.
I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Barrett, do you have any questions for the public?
No, I don't have.
Ms. McLean? Okay, thank you very much
Thank
for your
you.
input. Appreciate it. Okay, now I give you the last word, Mr. Jalkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, did we want to see if there were any additional speakers?
Sure. Are there any other speakers that would like to make some comments on this application that are present here today? Online? No, we have no further speakers on this issue. Mr. Jalkowski, I'll leave the floor to you.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Just Bill 23 is interesting. It did push us from 2 units per semi-detached to 3 units per semi-detached. So prior to Bill 23, 8 units were already permitted on that site in the current zoning in 2 long semis. So it hasn't, Bill 23 hasn't drastically changed that. The new zoning bylaw at one point could have even moved that higher, but currently the draft doesn't indicate such. I should remind the committee there is still going to be only 1 driveway. I would agree with the neighborhood that fences need to be done. And one of the discussions that I skipped over was that I work with clients that need to converse with their neighbors like neighbors do. There are also some hedges there that could be protected potentially as part of the site. So we will be meeting with the immediate neighbors, particularly around issues as well around light. So I'm quite aware that a car driving into a parking lot at the rear is going to create light spillover unless we do a fence, and we will be doing fences for certain. In terms of the noise, I hope that the fence will help somewhat. The last thing is that, as you are aware, the committee must deal with each application, in this case, the consent application, specifically for this site and whether or not it's warranted and meets with the requirements of both the official plan and the provincial mandates. Only on the basis of the site, they do not create precedents. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jalkowski. I'd like to ask the panel if they'd like to reserve on this decision. All those in favor to reserve? Your application is going to be reserved, Mr. Jalkowski, and you'll have our decision within 10 days.
Sorry. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. I think that concludes our hearings for today. Thank you all very much for your input, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.